many.
Good evening and welcome to Monday Night Live here on the Premier League Live on LFS, our final game of match week 36 of the Premier League season, and 9 games down and just one more to go, and it's Crystal Palace taking on Manchester United, a very injury-ravaged Manchester United tonight. Crystal Palace have won just once against Manchester United at home in the Premier League era. That was before Erik ten Hag became manager. He was in attendance though at the time, back in 2022. Crystal Palace might not get a better chance in the next while to beat Manchester United, and tonight is their hope and their chance. Oliver Glasner's side unbeaten in their last 4 Premier League games. Manchester United unbeaten in their last 4, both sides in decent form and looking for a result tonight. Manchester United have Europe to chase. Palace won a good end of the season under their new manager, who will get the benefit of tonight's game. To tonight's teams, and we start with the Crystal Palace side, who start with Dean Henderson in goal, a back 5 of Daniel Munoz, Nathaniel Klein, Joachim Andersen the captain, Chris Richards and Tyreek Mitchell in defence. Will Hughes, Adam Wharton in midfield, with a front 3 of Michael Olise, Ebere Eze and Jean-Philippe Mateta. Matthews, Ward, Gerhi, Schlupp, Ahamada, Riedewald, Ayew, Edward and Raksaki all on the bench for Oliver Glasner's team. Manchester United have come into this one with even more injury worries, with no Marcus Rashford and no Bruno Fernandes in the squad. It's a very young bench for United tonight, and it's basically who can get on the pitch is on the pitch tonight for them. Andre Onana starts in goal, a back 4 of Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Casemiro, who captains the side, is alongside Johnny Evans, the 14th centre-back pairing of the season for Manchester United. Diogo Dalot at left back. Kobbie Mainoo, Christian Eriksen in midfield, with Casemiro dropping back. Eriksen is in midfield. Mason Mount in a higher up role in an attacking midfield, in a straight swap with Bruno Fernandes, who's not involved. Anthony on the right, Garnacho on the left, and Rasmus Højlund through the middle. On the bench for Manchester United, some names that if you're not familiar with the Manchester United youth side, you'll maybe not have heard of before. Altay Bayinde, Tom Heaton, the sub-goalkeepers. And then a mix of youngsters, Toby Collier, Harry Amas, Lewis Jackson, Habib Agunyi, and then Sofian Amrabat alongside Ethan Wheatley as well on the bench. Amrabat, the only senior outfield, Amad Diallo and Sofian Amrabat, the only outfield senior players on the Manchester United bench tonight. Oliver Glasner's side in a fine run of form. They beat Liverpool at Anfield. They would love to beat Manchester United here at Selhurst Park tonight. Erik ten Hag's side, they've Europe to chase and they want to go back above both Chelsea and Newcastle. They need a win to do that. Kick-off from Selhurst Park is next. Good evening and welcome to Premier League Live this Monday night for the final game of match week 36 in the Premier League, where we've seen a lot of drama at either end of the table, plus in those European places. Man United's 2 main rivals for Europe, Newcastle and Chelsea, both getting big wins this weekend. Newcastle winning 4-1 at Burnley and Chelsea 5-0 winners at home against West Ham United. Man United would love to respond and score similar amounts of goals. They're the 12th ranked side in terms of goal scoring this season, only 52 goals. That is the lowest, the joint lowest inside the top half of the Premier League table. Only Bournemouth have failed to score more goals than Manchester United in the top 10 this season. West Ham on 56, and everybody above Manchester United has scored at least 17 goals more than Manchester United this season. Crystal Palace in their, of course, blue and red home strip, and Manchester United in their away strip of all white this evening for their travels. As we get underway for this game under the lights in South London, as Oliver Glasner's kind of rise spell, that honeymoon period as the new manager of Crystal Palace, it looks to be coming nowhere near an end anytime soon. 4 games unbeaten, beating Liverpool in that time. That started that run, beating West Ham 5-2 here, and a 2-0 win against Newcastle. That followed up with a 1-1 draw away at Fulham, has them picking up 10 points from their last 12 available. Incredible turnaround for Crystal Palace, and the way they've adapted to the system that Oliver Glasner wants to play, and the football that he is playing, that he wants his side to play, has been quite mesmerising to watch, with a real trio up front of Eze, Olise and Mateta. That's a nice ball from Joachim Andersen. Olise gives it down the left. Cross into the box it comes, and Evans doesn't take a risk. Shot from distance, and Evans has to block it again from Olise. It will be an early corner for Crystal Palace, but highlighted before the game about Palace's identity now under Oliver Glasner to get the ball forward as quickly as possible, be more direct, and the front-footedness of their defenders. And it's all Joachim Andersen's long ball forward to Olise that gets them on that front foot and gets them this corner in the final third. Jared Gillett's the referee tonight. Tony Harrington is the VAR, for your information. As Palace's corner taken short, but Mason Mount back defending. Closes it down and tries to get Manchester United forward, but they lose the possession in the process as Mitchell gets a brick of the ball. Tyreek Mitchell in the box goes down, and the referee, Jared Gillett, waves away any penalty claims for Crystal Palace. But Mitchell very high up there and pressing again. Johnny Evans, forcing Evans to knock it long, but really nice from Tyreek Mitchell. Stayed up, pressing Casemiro and Evans, and gets himself in a good position in the 18-yard box, does Tyreek Mitchell, but kind of just runs into the back of Johnny Evans. I don't think that is a foul, and I think the referee got that correct, in my opinion. I do have a slight issue with our match map. I have no idea why that is happening, but hopefully it will be resolved fairly shortly for you. I do apologise. And of course, all the great kind of Rosie in the Garden vibes around Crystal Palace at this moment in time. It's exactly the opposite for Manchester United towards the end of this season, despite being unbeaten in their last 5 games in all competitions, 4 in the Premier League, having drawn 3 of those 4 actually against Bournemouth, Liverpool and Burnley in that period, only winning against bottom of the league Sheffield United in that time. As Palace try and play forward again, but that ball from Eze was straight through, and Onana will pick it up. But Manchester United really not in the best run of form. I mean, that Burnley game at the last weekend, they conceded another late penalty when they thought they'd won it late on through Anthony's goal. That late penalty from Burnley really just deaded the atmosphere at Old Trafford. As Højlund on the press here, Dean Henderson with a nice spread of the ball there, and Munoz on the chase, couldn't carry it, but a really nice idea by the Palace keeper to get them forward quickly again. That idea of getting them on the front foot as quickly as possible, and it almost did work out once again, as Palace now pressing from the front with Mateta. Onana forced long into the middle. Munoz with the interception. That's a fantastic header. Wharton now out wide to Klein. Klein with the infield one. Trying to find Mateta, but he tried to find Olise and couldn't find the ball through. It's cut out now as Manchester United come down the left with Garnacho. Into midfield it comes. Eriksson. And now switching the ball was Mainu. Nice ball down for Dalot on the right. Dalot. Back to Eriksson. Has to go backwards again to Casemiro. Manchester United pushing high. Here's Aaron Wan-Bissaka taking up the left back position tonight. Of course, with more injuries. No Luke Shaw, no Tyrell Malacia either at that left-back position for Manchester United, so kind of a bit of deputising for Aaron Wan-Bissaka to do in his, not in his natural position at full-back, but it's a job that he can fulfil. Here's Mount to get the ball forward. Down the left it comes to Garnacho. Space now. Finds Mount. Back to Wan-Bissaka. Drags the ball out to the left-hand side. Can't go forward. Has to come back to Mainu. Mainu's ball in. It's just too straight into the box for Mount, and it will run for a goal kick to Crystal Palace. Good idea from the midfielder there, Kobbie Mainoo, who's burst onto the scene this season in that United midfield. When his opportunity has come, he has grasped it with both hands, and really this season's been a massively impressive player for Manchester United. He's one of their best players this season in terms of consistently performing week in, week out for them. And at the fine young age of 19 years of age, of course only turned 19 at the end of April. Mount. All the way back to Casemiro. The press again from Adam Wharton in the midfield. That ball over the top from Casemiro. Foul find its way right through to Dean Henderson in the Palace goal. Well, even that win against Sheffield United, their only win in their last 5, Manchester United, or in their last 4 in all competitions. Really, Mateta on the spin there, just watching that, the referee said no. It wasn't convincing either. I mean, Man United were behind twice in that game. Went 1-0 down through Jayden Bogle, and then went 2-1 down through Ben Burton Diaz before they did unleash a couple of goals in the latter minutes of the game to win it late on. But it's really not convincing either. When they do win, Manchester United, it's not convincing. I mean, we look at back to the Coventry game in the FA Cup semi-final, and they were 3-0 up in that game, cruising comfortable. Coventry get a goal, and kind of it puts the willies up them, really. They kind of crumble, and they almost give that away and almost end up messing it all up and being put out of the FA Cup. But, you know, they did get through on penalties, but not convincing against the Championship side. And then against, in the following game, against a side that has been relegated to the Championship now, Sheffield United, another non-convincing game. Then against Burnley, another relegation battler, all on the verge of relegation themselves, again not convincing defensively. Again, not convincing at all, really. And it's that combination, really. It's just those inconsistencies, but also not performing against the sides that they should be performing against, and dominating and controlling and getting the best out of themselves in those games. They're just not seeing it at this moment in time. That's a lovely link up between Mainoo and Wan-Bissaka. Garnacho down the left-hand side. Garnacho comes across, blocked off by Will Hughes. And now Olise can be unleashed. Trying to find that, or Eze, sorry. Olise and Eze just switched positions there. Munoz, now Olise down the right-hand side. Munoz continued his run. Now Olise can drift into the middle. Hughes to Eze. Eze, lovely skill, beats one. Couldn't beat another. And Casemiro and Dalot helping out to get the ball back for United, but they play it forward quickly, and that ball to Dalot is cut out really easily as Mitchell picks it up down the left. Really interesting from Palace. The fact that they're wanting the ball, they're showing for the ball, and they're winning the ball a lot quicker. Their counter press is actually really impressive in these early moments. Just to see them, you know, encave Manchester United, kind of suffocate them into space and really close them down and force them to make those balls that they really don't want to make. I mean, it's kind of characteristics, and I'm not going to get carried away with myself, but it's characteristics of the best teams in the league. You know, you think of a Liverpool or a Manchester City or an Arsenal. They kind of suffocate you to try and give them the ball back. I would say especially Liverpool, with that counter-pressing idea. Palace so far have looked actually really nice at that, and actually pretty comfortable in doing it. So that's Richards' header. Couldn't find Hughes in the middle and just overstretched him. As Kobe Mainoo picks it up. Wan-Bissaka. Now Garnacho. Trying to find the space down the left-hand side. Palace having it covered so far in those early moments. Just the one shot in these opening 10 minutes, and that was from Crystal Palace. And that was Elise from distance. That was blocked behind for the corner early on for Palace, but that's the only shot we've had so far. Man United struggling to get it into the final third and create chances early on as Munoz clears down the line. Nicely taken down by Mateta. Jean-Philippe Mateta. Space to run forward. Holds off Mainoo. Running down the right channel. Nowhere to really go, but cuts it back to Munoz, now Nathaniel Klein. Really good idea again. As Anderson plays it across to Richards. Now out to Mitchell on the left. Infield to Elise. Couldn't recover it. Elise that time, and they were suffocating. Try and win it back again. Really intense from Palace. Mitchell this time giving a foul away, but the free kick tried to catch them out there. Unfortunately for Crystal Palace, their keeper was there to witness that and to gather the ball ahead of Garnacho. But again, really intense pressing from Crystal Palace there to win the ball back. Really kind of aggressive in their approach, and I really like to see that. You know, we've talked about Crystal Palace, and we've had conversations before, even when Patrick Vieira was at this club. You know, Patrick Vieira, of course, the only manager to see out a home victory against Manchester United in the Premier League era on this ground. It was a 1-0 victory back in May 2022. But really, you know, we've had conversations before about Crystal Palace and what is their direction? Do they want to go for Europe, or is it just happy enough to stay in the Premier League? Here's Elise breaking free. Michael Elise, 1-0. Totally free in the middle. And Michael Elise running through unopposed by Manchester United, and he just finds the bottom right corner. Just as Erik ten Hag was firing instructions to his players. Too little, too late. And Crystal Palace have looked the brighter of the two teams so far. Take the lead. Crystal Palace 1, Manchester United 0. That's all from a throw-in on the right. And Elise, just cute bit of skill, breaks away from the one midfielder trying to mark him. I think it was Casemiro that was actually gone forward to try and mark him. Beats past Casemiro with a nice jink. Gets into space. Mainoo has no chance at recovering. And then he just finds this shot, takes his step, and finds it with the left boot into the far right corner. Nice in-step finish to the far right side netting. That's a really nice goal by Michael Elise, and all of his own doing, really. Fantastic. Again, so similarly of Crystal Palace. They get the ball forward quickly. Do not waste anybody's time, even their own. And they get it forward, and they finish off their chances nicely. And that is a really good start to the game for Palace, but a really bad blow for Manchester United in the early stages here. Crystal Palace 1, Manchester United 0. And now Manchester United need to commit themselves a bit more. Garnacho does well to get the break of the ball. Finds Mount. Now spreads it wide for Wan-Bissaka. Looking for an instant response, United. As Wan-Bissaka actually hits his own man and has to try and recover it to stop it being a goal kick. But Munoz does well defensively and holds off Wan-Bissaka and gets the goal kick for Crystal Palace. And the Selhurst Park crowd are in full voice at this moment in time. They're bouncing in that stand to our left. That's what you like to see. The atmosphere when it gets going in this ground is something of real kind of display when we see it. Some great displays here. And we get to see them at their best, and so far defensively they've been really good. As Anderson comes across there under pressure from Højlund. He does really well to hold them off and wins Crystal Palace the throw-in. That's really good from the Crystal Palace captain. holding off the Manchester United centre forward by using his physical power there. Joachim Andersen. Munoz to take the throw in. 15 minutes gone at Selhurst Park. 1-0 to Crystal Palace. Throw in from Munoz, flicked on by Mateta. He's trying to chase it. He's still going to chase the ball here. Onana has it at the back. Spreads it out to Evans. Right down the line it comes to Wan-Bissaka. Tries to flick it on but loses the ball. Mateta tried to beat past Evans but taken out of the ball there. It's a fantastic challenge by Will Hughes to win it back for Palace. Really impressive. And the Palace fans cheering every single challenge, every single tackle. And attempted a nice ball in behind there. Elise had made the run and Eze tried to find him, but United getting that back in defence there. Eriksson now in midfield as Casemiro knocks it over the top, trying to find the run of Anthony. Headed away by Anderson, picked up by Højlund. Flicks it back for Eriksson. Now Mainu, bit of space here as Mount spreads it out to the left, but doesn't hit the ball correctly and doesn't find Alejandro Garnacho on that left flank. And it will go out for another Crystal Palace throw. And the glum face of Erik ten Hag, chewing the chewing gum on the sidelines. Penny for his thoughts. I mean, the goal, ultimately, I mean, when I was explaining, I said unopposed, but it was. I mean, Crystal Palace, literally, there was no kind of stability for Manchester, no structure from that throw-in. I mean, they beat past one man, and Casemiro's in midfield. He's playing centre-back tonight, and he stretches into midfield, leaves the gap in behind, and it does create a bit more space. Not saying it's completely Casemiro's fault, but I mean, no one's over the cover, no one's tracking back, no one's blocking the runners. Here's a chance for Mount, though. Oh, picked it up first time on the edge of the box, tried to strike it, but cleared away, and now Palace have a bit of an overload here. Here's Mateta, down the left this time, picked it up from the long kick. Mateta tried to squeeze it through there for Eze, but the space closed off as Manchester United have it back. But really, from that goal, the goal for Crystal Palace, just no opposition to it. I mean, Elise just was allowed to just run right through. And, I mean, it was just too easy, really. I mean, great play by Crystal Palace, and they've deserved it, of course. But from a Manchester United point of view, you'd have watched those runners and have those players marked. At the very least, know where you're going to try and stop them, and how you're going to try and stop them, and how you're going to execute that. As Evans' header into the middle, and Wharton trying to win the ball back. Committed there. Adam Wharton, the youngster, in the midfield, wins at Crystal Palace a free kick in a good area. Adam Wharton, of course, 20 years of age, signed from Blackburn for an undisclosed fee in the January transfer window, and has started 12 of his 13 appearances before this one for Crystal Palace. He started 12 out of the 13. So a mainstay in that Palace midfield, it seems, from his early season performances. Elise said he'd take this free kick. Fizzed out to the left. Richards up for the header, but headed it straight across and out for a goal kick, but didn't get the correct header on it there, Chris Richards. I mean, all the talk before the game, that big headline news when the team news dropped, and even when the teams arrived about an hour and a half before kickoff, and the travelling squad of Manchester United came through, and no sign of their club captain Bruno Fernandes, and no sign of Marcus Rashford. Real concerns about those two players here this evening. A real kind of shock that they weren't going to be here this evening, but they are not involved, and it's just adding to the already few injuries that Manchester United have. Quite a few injuries. I mean, the main centre-backs, I mean, probably you would argue 4 their four main centre-backs all injured, with Lisandro Martinez, Victor Lindelof, Harry Maguire and Rafael Varane all out through injury at this moment in time. You know, I mentioned it in the build-up, 14th kind of centre-back partnership tonight, this between Casemiro and Johnny Evans. You know, that's bound to mess you up defensively, bound to keep you kind of rattled, but at the same time, it's not just there that they've had injuries. I mean, left back has been another real problem for Manchester United this season, and you could argue maybe that the fact that they've two right backs, or right backs that two players that want to play at right back, and their natural position is right back, playing on either side of the pitch tonight, with Dalot on the right and Wan-Bissaka on the left. You could also argue the fact that they've had a lack of left backs has kept them a bit lacking at the back. Here's Munoz across to Olise, blocked by Mateta. Palace flying forward again, and that front three once again causing all sorts of problems. And Munoz decided to join that time. Munoz breaking down the right. You'll see it again. Palace win it nicely through Mateta. Olise just sees the run of Munoz, lays it off down the right. Munoz squares it across to Olise, who strikes it trying to find the bottom left corner. And he's actually blocked by his own man in Mateta, who gets in the way and blocks the shot. But again, that Palace attack looked fluid. Really comfortable in their ability to play forward and get into good attacking areas at this moment in time, and really test this Manchester United defence. Bogged down with injuries at the moment, as Mitchell wins the throw-in down the left-hand side for Crystal Palace. Comes the ball through the middle. Adam Wharton. Nice tick by Eze. He'll get a second shot at it. Lost it again. Wharton now battling to win it back, and does win it back cleanly. Lovely from Adam Wharton. Now Olise spreads it wide. Finds Munoz. Munoz with a cross all the way through. Mitchell squares it across. Olise straight into the hands of Onana. But Palace tearing Manchester United bit to bit from side to side. That's really nice again. Munoz with a deep cross. Misses the head of Mateta, I think it's in the middle. Comes right through to Mitchell. Mitchell squares it back for Olise. And then Olise with a shot straight down the throat of Andre Onana. But already, again, Crystal Palace making more of a nuisance of themselves in that final third. Anthony, now for Manchester United. Try and do the same for the opposite team. Anthony now, spreading it across. Taken down by Garnacho, his opposite winger. Mainu, and Evans has to square it across to Casemiro as Manchester United take stock, but Palace out of possession. 5-2-3 as Klein steps in to win the ball, and does so again as Hughes flicks it out, finds Klein. That's really nice. Munoz now over the top, gets the break of the ball, does Olise off Wan-Bissaka. Olise taking his time, not flying forward this time around, knows to just recycle it on that occasion. Chris Richards through the middle, coming to pick up the ball as Eberi Eze. Nice turn of pace from Eze, and he taken down there. The referee says no foul, so Manchester United have the ball back now. Garnacho down the left hand side, making the run against Klein, drives across the middle and goes down. Garnacho, and wins Manchester United a free kick off Will Hughes. And he'd nowhere to go other than a cross goal, and maybe just an unnecessary stray leg from Will Hughes to flick out. Maybe a bit unnecessary, because Garnacho was going absolutely nowhere there. He'd nowhere to be. And Erik ten Hag, while the ball is up the pitch, giving Casemiro a few instructions on the sidelines as the United centre-back, auxiliary centre-back tonight, takes a drink to rehydrate himself. So free kick for Manchester United. edge of the box or in and around that. About 20 yards out, I would say. Not central. To the left of the D. Ericsson and Mount over it. So the worry maybe just getting it up and down again as Palace set up their wall. As Ericsson walks away. Whether he's walking away to just leave Mount to take the free kick or if he's trying to organise something. He is. He's trying to organise the mini wall of Manchester United in front of the Palace wall. As Ericsson looks up. Him and Mount over the ball. Whistle's already gone. Waiting for the strike. Ericsson strikes. And over the bar it goes. But it did take a deflection on the way through, which gets it a corner. I think it was come off Richards, maybe? Might have been Chris Richards that got any sort of contact on that. Will be a Manchester United corner. Left-hand side. Ericsson over to take this one. Be an in-swinging corner from the left-hand side. Right-footed from Ericsson. Whipped into the box. Deep to the back post. Casemiro up for the header. Oh, and a mistake! At the back, the keeper tried to come for it. And was he fouled, Dean Henderson? Man United away celebrating. And the referee has not given the goal for a foul. I'll have to say it again, but it looked really strange in the box there from Crystal Palace. I mean, Højlund had a grip of Henderson initially, and then he comes back. Yeah, it is a foul. He impedes the goalkeeper clearly there, Rasmus Højlund, as he's trying to jump for the ball. Keeper's blocked off, forced back into his own net by Højlund, and the ball bundles over the line. It is a foul. No goal. And I think Jared Gillett there, the referee, has got the correct decision. Erik ten Hag disputing it with the fourth official, Graham Scott, but I don't think there is anything to complain about there. Oh, mistake at the back from Menu. Oh, almost. And Andre Onana came and saved it. Just choking on my drink, my goodness me. Dramatic moment there. Almost missed a good chance, but Onana coming back to cover. It was a mistake at the back from United there. Got away with one. Just see it, Henderson with a long kick. In behind it bounces, and Mainu just tracking back to his own goal. Just tried to flick it back for his keeper. Doesn't get enough on it. And Elise latched upon it on the mistake and almost had a very good opportunity to double the lead for Palace. Here they come again. Mitchell now, infield run. Mitchell across Munoz. Up it goes and into the hands of Andre Onana. In the Manchester United goal once again. Crystal Palace have had all the shots on target. United still without a shot on target tonight. They've had more possession. 65% of the ball, United. Palace just 35%, but Palace 4 shots, 2 on target, 12 touches in the opposition box compared to United's just 3 touches in the opposition box. Here's Mateta. As Palace won it again in the midfield through Adam Wharton. Chip down the line. Klein. Elise trying to battle for it, and a committed challenge from Joachim Andersen there. He's disputing with the referee the fact that he felt he got a clean connection on it, but Rasmus Højlund went down in the process, and referee's given Man United the free kick here. Have to say it again. Nah. Yeah, it is a foul. There's not really much ball kind of connection there between Andersen and the ball there. It's not much. And it is a foul. So another free kick for United. Ericsson to take again. Fizzes it into the box. To the back post it goes. And all the way through it goes for a goal kick. Munoz was trying to throw himself at it, but it was too high for him. And that goes out for a goal kick to Crystal Palace. Dean Henderson to take this kick then. Takes it short to Anderson, who goes long up the pitch. Mateta making the run in behind. Whether he's onside or not. Flag stayed down for the moment. Mateta, and will win the throw-in. So a good run in behind there from Mateta, timed it perfectly. Klein. Back it comes to Anderson. Anderson with a pop ball up the top. Has headed away there by Dallow. Brought down in the midfield. Wharton battling for it back and does win it back. Adam Wharton for Palace. Richards now turns back to his keeper. Ethan in the chat says Palace 3, Man United 2. Oh, goals galore game then. Love that. So far I'd have to say it's Palace that look most likely to score any sort of goal tonight. Considering they've scored one. Man United really look, again, lacking ideas in that final third at this moment in time. Really just not getting it into their attackers enough. Definitely not Hoyland enough. Ball in behind there from Palace. Onana's come and jested it. And he's absolutely sliced the kick. But he had to get it away because he was in no man's land there. And if it had fell to a Palace player, they'd an open net to try and find. Onana scrambled it for safety though. Klein. Down the right hand side is Munoz. Made the run beyond. Chops back. Up against Garnacho. Defensively there. Garnacho tracking back. Played across to Wharton. Wharton's cross in. Headed away by Casemiro. Now Hughes picks it back up. And Eze gives it back to Richards. Back to Eberi Eze. He has to face his own goal for the moment. Eberi Eze. Back to Richards. Across comes Anderson. Now through the lines is Olise. Back to Klein. Palace nice movements. Really intricate passing. Although they've passed it away. There, giving it away through Mateta. Evans for Manchester United. Mainu. Now to Casemiro. Kobe Mainu. Through the lines it goes. Garnacho linking up with Mount. Garnacho back to Wan-Bissaka. Passing it around now, Manchester United. But I've just said about how the lack of kind of getting it into their attackers. Hoyland and Anthony, the fewest touches in this game of any player on the pitch. Hoyland with 10 touches, Anthony with 12 touches, the two fewest players in this game, including both goalkeepers. So, it's the clear evidence that Manchester United are failing to get it into those attackers and getting them forward and into good positions. That's nice from Eze to win it deep. Spreads it across. That's lovely from Eberi Eze. Finds Munoz in space. Down the right hand side it comes. His body's forward. Munoz gets the bounce off Wan-Bissaka. Munoz in the box it goes. Olise taken down there. Referee says no foul as they play on. Do Palace. Wharton with a switch. Trying to find Mitchell. Not a clean header by Anthony there defensively. And a pull back on Tyrick Mitchell. The referee again doesn't give a foul. Surprised at that one especially. It was a clear push. Clear pull back from Anthony on Tyrick Mitchell there. But Palace not getting the free kick. Here's Wan-Bissaka. Down the left. Finds Garnacho. Garnacho overlapping is Wan-Bissaka. Wan-Bissaka with a cross. And Hoyland trying to get any sort of touch on it. Does get a touch, but can only force it wide of the goal for a goal kick. It was good link up down that left between Garnacho and Wan-Bissaka. And then Hoyland making the run across goal to try and reach the cross from Wan-Bissaka, but it was too wide to try and get it. Well, around about 10 minutes to go in this first half. Crystal Palace have been the better side in the game. Marginally better with their attacking output than Manchester United. They look threatening with those front three in behind. United defence struggling to deal with that at this moment in time. As Mainu now has to track back, but runs into trouble through Munoz. As Mateta can't carry it with him, but Munoz back battling for the ball. And a late challenge in there on Kobbie Mainoo will get Manchester United a free kick in their own defensive third. As I was saying then, 10 minutes to go of this first half, and don't forget more Premier League football next weekend for the penultimate weekend of the season, but more football to come for you this midweek. The second legs of the Champions League semi-finals. We'll get our first finalist of the Champions League tomorrow night, where we head to the Parc des Princes as PSG take on Borussia Dortmund, and Dortmund taking a 1-goal lead from the first leg from Signal Iduna Park last week to Paris for the second leg. That's tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. Harry Mitchell chasing that ball out in the left flank there, but just run out of room, and Man United will get the throw. Dalot will take this throw in then. Ball up the middle. Mount trying to lay it off. Does get it off to Mainoo, and Mainoo has to retract back to make sure Mitchell doesn't nick it away. Does well there. Did Mainoo. Bit of firefighting for him. Garnacho back to Wan-Bissaka. Now Eriksson dropping deeper. Goes back to his keeper, Onana. Casemiro. Now Dalot. Into the middle is Evans. Now Mainoo down the line. Taken down by Dalot nicely. This is good link up. Anthony now finds Højlund. Challenged nicely by Wharton. And Richards has it back now for Palace. Patient there, Crystal Palace. Being aggressive in their challenging, but also patient and not forcing it and not overcommitting, waiting for the moment that they can make the challenge, and they made it convincingly. So United have the ball back now. Ball over the top. Richards will just head back to his keeper. Really, I have to be honest. I mean, none of the Crystal Palace back three really have been massively tested at all. Klein, Richards or Anderson at the back. And even the wing backs in Mitchell and Munoz have been more progressive rather than defensively in a back five at times. They've been more in a back three, Palace, and comfortable in that back three with Munoz and Mitchell applying pressure in the wide areas. As Palace win another throw in on the right hand side. Munoz will take. Of course, this front three doing so well is great for Crystal Palace at this moment in time in terms of league performance in games, but it's whether they'll hold on to those players, upping their value, but also upping their kind of publicity and their kind of the interest of the big clubs, the top clubs in the Premier League. Maybe Man United could be one of those hot suitors for one of these front three, Eze, Olise or Mateta. Olise and Eze certainly the two hot favourites to be on the way out the door if the right price comes in, but really the way Palace have been going and progressing in these last couple of games, and the way they're playing, the football they're playing, is actually really kind of nice to watch. And really kind of progressive and attacking and front-footed. You need pacey players that do have that ability to carry you forward in their team if you want to keep that system. So it's whether Crystal Palace will be willing to let go of those players at the end of this season. Maybe they've just hit the jackpot with the with the players they have and their kind of ability and their qualities, their attributes. Here's Mateta, breaks away from Evans, now gets into the box. Mateta! What a finish! That is a cracking goal, an absolute blaster from Jean-Philippe Mateta, who's in roaring form in recent time for Crystal Palace, and he's just added another to his tally. That is sensational stuff. His 12th Premier League goal of the season and his 5th in his last 4 appearances. Incredible. That is perfect from Crystal Palace. They win it high up, they break forward, and they finish with pure quality. That is the identity of Crystal Palace. They win it down the left. Just challenging, and Chris Richards with a nice ball to find Mateta, breaks him into space. He just steps away from Johnny Evans, who's overcommitted himself into the challenge. Just see it again. Johnny Evans just tries to close him off, see him in field, and he actually goes on the outside of him. Mateta, really nice, just chops past his man, finds the space, and then does the rest with an absolute screamer of a finish. Really nice, gets into the box and just unleashes a rocket with his left boot into the net. Onana, no opposer, no brick wall there from Onana, and he concedes another, and Manchester United concede another, and that's a roaring goal by Jean-Philippe Mateta, who is in fabulous form in recent games, and he is certainly showing the output that he was certainly bought for anyway, and why he was brought to this football club a few seasons ago. Of course, signed on loan, actually. Initially, paid a loan fee of £3 million for Jean-Philippe Mateta Crystal Palace back in January 2021. Went back to Mainz in Germany at the end of 2022 on that 1.5 year loan, and then actually signed him the next day as he returned from his loan for £9.4 million at the end of the January transfer window in 2022. Jean-Philippe Mateta, and he's showing what he's worth, most certainly, in recent games, and hitting a fantastic vein of form. Manchester United do have a free kick in a good area here. Crystal Palace defensively strong so far, yet to concede a shot on target. Here's Eriksen to whip one in, and a header from Casemiro is over the bar. And Crystal Palace still yet to concede a shot on target. Yeah, the ball over the top, and Casemiro in between two Palace players and just pops up with a header, but can only flick it off his head, and over the bar it went for a goal kick. And glum faces in the Manchester United fans in the away end here at Selhurst Park. A few yawns as well. Maybe an early night for those Man United fans. Most of them have had that long trip down from Manchester. Final 2 minutes of this first 45 then, and Crystal Palace, who've, I would say, bossed the first half, because bossed is a bit extreme, because that would mean they've dominated the whole thing, but in terms of the final third, they've been scintillating in this first half. They've been really fluid, really fluent, really free-flowing, and Man United have just had no answers to it at this moment in time. Crystal Palace keep posing questions to United, and Man United struggling to come up with the answers defensively, really, so far. Palace having the answers to everything Man United are throwing at them at this moment in time. Although here comes Garnacho to try and change that. Garnacho using his feet in the box. Tried to cut it back for Mount, but blocked by Wharton. Will fall to Mainu. Evans. Now Garnacho back to Mainu. Was just a bit passenger-esque and waiting for that ball, and Elise just plays it forward. Munoz continued to run. Chops back on Evans. Munoz in field. Lays it off for Elise. Really nice again from Palace. Elise just waiting for Klein to get involved. Back to Elise it comes from Nathaniel Klein, and Klein makes the run down the right now. Nathaniel Klein bricks past Mainu. Klein into the box. Nathaniel Klein. Just run out of leg room there. Just his legs left him, and he just run out of room, and Daniel Munoz has to make the challenge. Does give away the free kick to Manchester United, but even Mason Mount's getting at his team. His first start in 7 months tonight. And he's in the position that Bruno Fernandes would be playing if he was here tonight. At the moment, seems to be taking up the Bruno kind of initiative as captain to scream at the players. The end of the 45 minutes then, 3 added minutes. So 3 more to go. Just remember, Man United did have the ball in the net earlier in the half when Palace were 1 up. That was disallowed by the referee on field, and that was the correct decision according to VAR, who had a quick look and agreed that it was a foul on Dean Henderson, and the goal was disallowed. Pretty quickly it was. Onana across to Casemiro. Through it goes. That's lovely from Anthony. Played it on to Dallo, and then the committed challenge from Joachim Andersen, who tracked the runner all the way across, puts it out for the throw-in on the right-hand side for Manchester United. Well, Crystal Palace have already beaten Manchester United this season in the reverse fixture back in the end of September, and a 1-0 victory at Old Trafford, with Joachim Andersen scoring the only goal of the game to secure victory and a clean sheet at Old Trafford for Crystal Palace. They'll look to do the double, and they're in a comfortable position at this moment in time to try and do the double over Manchester United this season. Crystal Palace last scored 2 goals against Manchester United in a single game back in September 2020 when they won 3-1 at Old Trafford. Andros Townsend and Wilfred Zaha, the 2 goal scorers in that day. Zaha with a penalty and an open play goal for a brace on that day. It was the last time Palace scored 2 against United. Man United have struggled to score against Palace. Here's Eze, tried to shoot and couldn't find the pass either to Elise there, and went all the way through for a goal kick. But again, unopposed there, Elise and Eze, 2-on-1. If he got that cross right there, Eze, it could have been 3-0 to Palace before half time, but the pass just overhit. But as I was saying, Man United have in recent times struggled to score against Palace here at Selhurst. They've just scored 1 goal in their last 3 appearances here. That was the last visit to Selhurst Park. Bruno Fernandes with the goal. And Palace had kept clean sheets in those previous 2 games against Manchester United in previous seasons. In 2022, that 1-0 win. And then in 2021, the 0-0 draw here. There's the end of the first half then. And a first half which Crystal Palace have been the better team in the final third and got their due rewards for it. Half time, Crystal Palace in cruise control at this moment in time. They're really threatening. That front 3 look fluid and fluent in Oliver Glasner football at this moment in time. And Crystal Palace are bossing this game. Crystal Palace 2, Manchester United 0. Analysis on the way next.
Catch me if I fall. I'll put you in a grid 6 feet like Kenny. Call me a god. Call me a god. Call me a god. Don't die if you try, you
Welcome back to Premier League Live, half-time here at Selhurst Park. It is Crystal Palace 2, Manchester United 0 at the break. What a first half for Crystal Palace, who have absolutely bossed it in the final third. They've been incredible. Absolutely sensational, Crystal Palace in that first half. And Manchester United, injury destroyed Manchester United, who lost another two coming into this one with no Bruno Fernandes for the second time this season, and no Marcus Rashford as well in the squads tonight. A very young bench for Manchester United. It's really the 11 on the pitch to do the business, or no one else is going to, because there's a very young bench for Manchester United. But Crystal Palace, I mean, it's the first half's all about them. They've been sensational. I mean, that front three of Eze, Elise and Mateta have know each other inside out. They've played with each other for a long time, but this system really seems to suit them, that Oliver Glasner's playing that 5-2-3 system with really two very dogged, hard-working midfielders in Alan Wharton and Will Hughes to win the ball back. Even the back three of Klein, Richards and Anderson really getting themselves involved and battling for challenges. Mitchell and Munoz giving that wide pressure as well on United, and then the front three, those balls in behind those runners of Elise and Eze, and then Mateta being the kind of focal point up front for Crystal Palace. It really looks really strong for them at this moment in time, and they've played an absolute wonder of a game in the first half, despite not having very much constant pressure. You know, we talk about, defensively teams struggle a lot when they come under a lot of pressure and they're kind of closed down really quickly. And I mean, although Crystal Palace have been aggressive and threatening and really kind of committed in their challenges, it's not that they've kind of dominated the midfield or dominated the control of the ball or dominated possession. But what they have done is, when Man United have had possession, which, as you'll see with the stats in a moment, Man United have had more of the possession, but you wouldn't say they've dominated possession in that same factor. Yes, they've had 2/3 of it almost, but when they've had it, Manchester United, they've really struggled to do anything with it. Palace look really comfortable at sitting in and allowing Manchester United to have the ball at times, but also when they feel that they can win the ball back, Crystal Palace, they're going to be aggressive and they're going to kind of push players forward and really kind of suffocate United into giving them the ball back and force them to make those long balls and trying to make aimless passes. And Palace are really good, and have been really good in this game, at being physical, winning the ball back and challenging in the right moments and winning the ball back in the right areas to really cause as much threat as possible. And then when they do win the ball back, Palace, they get it forward really quickly, really direct, really kind of strong, fast attacking paced kind of final third play from Crystal Palace, and the Ezes and the Elises will lap that up all day long. And that's why I think that front three are doing so well. Not only are they a bit more compact and they're not spreading out into the wide areas, they're allowing the wing backs to do that, to give them the width, but that narrow front three of Mateta, Elise and Eze, they'll lap that up all day long with the likes of running in behind and making those runs and being physical and using a bit of skill to break away from players. That's exactly what they've done in that first half. They've been the personification of that in that first half, and that's exactly why Crystal Palace have been so good. But again, the first goal all comes from central instability from Manchester United in through the midfield in that central area, and it was made point was made before about the spaces in the central areas for Manchester United. The gaps are extreme, and again another one throw into the box or onto the pitch from around about Palace's own half. Elise just beats past one, holds off Eriksen too far forward, beats past Eriksen, and then just chops away from Casemiro, who has to try and commit himself to hold off the man. He overcommits, and then Elise just runs free through the middle and unopposed completely, and he just uses that left boot and finds the bottom right corner, pinpoint, fine. And then we talk about the second goal. I mean, really committed. I mean, talk about Palace being aggressive at winning the ball back. Really nice work. They win the ball back in the left-hand side of the pitch. It falls to Chris Richards, and instantly, as I mentioned, when they win the ball back, they want to be direct. They want to get it forward as fast as possible, and they just ping it forward. Chris Richards, I mean, I'll look at it here. I'm just seeing the replay of it. So Dallo has it at the back. He tries to play it into an area for Anthony to try and gather. But Palace kind of closing in on that left area. Will Hughes battling. He loses. It doesn't win the ball. It's Mitchell commits with a challenge. Richards is the first to react to pick up the loose ball and get it forward as quickly as possible. Threads it beautifully through for Mateta. And Mateta does the rest with the goal. But, I mean, it's Palace being aggressive and winning the ball back and then laying it off, getting it forward as fast as they possibly can. And Man United just haven't been able to deal with that in multiple moments. I mean, the 2 goals literally come from Palace being aggressive and throwing it forward, getting it forward quick. And Man United just not able to recover in time to kind of stop them off at this moment in time. And that's why they're 2-0 up at the break. Right, we're going to show you the stats and what that means then. What the first half really says in the numbers. Let's just have a look then. These are numbers from the first half of the game here at Selhurst Park. Crystal Palace then having less of the possession, and I mentioned that Man United having a lot more of the possession, but again not doing enough with it, and not doing very much with it in that first half. With the little amount of possession that they have had at Manchester United, or with the amount of possession that they've had, in that first half, they've not done very much with it, and that's credit to Palace. But Palace, with a little of the possession that they've had, or just over a third of possession, they have actually been the more threatening. And we look at that through the stats. I mean, they've had more attempts, Palace, 5 to Man United's 4 in that first half. 3 shots on target from Palace, 2 of them finding the back of the net. None on target from Manchester United, which is crucial. Not a shot on target in that first half, United, which shows how controlled Palace are in that final, in their own defensive third. They're blocking off those chances. And I mean, halfway through that first half, we talked about the little amount of touches that United forwards had. I mean, Anthony's had 21 touches. Højlund has had 15 touches. Mount has had 26, to be fair. And Garnacho's had 28 in that first half. To take that into consideration, both goalkeepers, I think, have had more touches than both Anthony and Højlund in that first half. Both goalkeepers have had more touches in that first half. So pretty disappointing for Manchester United in that first half, really. Not much to go off. I mean, only 1 corner apiece, and then the XG is pretty low for both teams. 0.5 for Palace, 0.27 for Manchester United. But the thing is, for Palace, they're being really aggressive in their final third areas, and they're clinical. I mean, they've got clinical finishers. I mean, we've seen that with both goals. Very nice finishes. Both players who know where the net is and know how to find the net on a consistent basis. We talk about Mateta, 5 goals in his last 4 Premier League appearances. That is consistency, and that is knowing where the ball needs to be and where it needs to go to get into the back of the net, and how he does that and how he delivers that. That's exactly the type of forward that you want in your team, and especially in a team that's being very direct and aggressive in their attacking approach, which Palace have been. Right, so that's Crystal Palace 2, Manchester United 0, and those are the stats, the story of the game so far on that front. And at half-time, that is where we stand between these two clubs at half-time. Let's just quickly run you through the rest of the weekend's results. It started on Friday night. Luton 1, Everton 1. Everton drawing away at Luton, and Luton needed a win, but could only scrape a draw out of that one. But they did threaten for more. Arsenal comfortable 3-0 win in the end against Bournemouth at the Emirates on Saturday lunchtime. Brentford and Fulham played at a goalless draw at 3 o'clock on Saturday. With a goalless draw. Not often that has been the case this season in Premier League games, but once this weekend. Burnley, well beaten by Newcastle. Newcastle chasing Europe this season once again, and they well beat Burnley, which puts Burnley on the verge of relegation if results go against them this weekend. Nottingham Forest, well, they needed the big 3 points, and they did get them against already relegated Sheffield United on Saturday. It meant they put themselves 3 points ahead of Luton in the bottom 3. Forest creating that gap now, and they could, if results go against both Luton and Burnley this weekend, they both could be relegated by the end of this weekend. At Manchester City 5, Wolves 1, a confident victory for Manchester City. Erling Haaland scoring 4 goals in that game to give City 3 points to respond to Arsenal's earlier 3-goal win. Brighton yesterday, with a better side against Aston Villa, who showed little to nothing in attacking areas. Aston Villa in the claret and blue, and Brighton in their lovely blue and white strip. The Seagulls came out victorious. João Pedro with the only goal of that game to give them victory. Chelsea, back in very good form, back-to-back London derby wins for them and clean sheets in both. 5-0 winners against West Ham United. And of course, with the breaking news today that David Moyes will be leaving West Ham at the end of the season, and Julian Lopetegui has signed an agreement in principle. He's not signed anything, but there's an agreement in principle for him to be the next West Ham United manager. And Liverpool back to winning ways convincingly against Tottenham yesterday by 4-2 at Anfield, and Tottenham's hopes of Champions League football surely done and dusted now, where they need to win their final 3 and hope that Aston Villa gain no more than 2 points from their final 2 games to get Champions League football. There, Spurs, and they've still to play Manchester City in that spell. And Crystal Palace 2, Man United 0 at the break. Second half from Selhurst Park, where Palace are 2-0 up against Manchester United, is on the way next.
Catch me if I fall. I'll put you in a grid 6 feet like Kenny. You call me a god. You call me a god. You call me a god.
Welcome back to Premier League Live this Monday night here on LFS in the final game of match day 36 as we enter the final 2 weeks of this Premier League season. And it is going to be a dismal night, it seems, at half-time. Certainly, it seems like it will be a dismal night for Manchester United and their trip to South London. And a short team talk from Erik ten Hag, because United have been back out on the pitch for quite some time now. The last couple of minutes they've been out on the pitch, so certainly he said what he needed to say, Man United manager, and he's got them back out on the pitch very early. And there we are, Palace just returning to the pitch then, so almost ready to get back underway in this one, and a job half done for Crystal Palace. 45 minutes away from doing the double over Manchester United this season, and yet to concede a goal against Manchester United this campaign. We'll see if Man United can respond in the second half. As we're all ready to go, underway we go then for the second 45 here at Selhurst Park, where Crystal Palace leading Manchester United by 2-0. They say it's the most dangerous scoreline in football, 2-0, and certainly it can be if the opposition gets an early goal to respond to being 2-0 down. But Manchester United haven't had a shot on target, never mind putting the ball in the back of the nets. They haven't tested Dean Henderson massively. Of course, Dean Henderson was a former Manchester United player for a while. Did play for the club. Actually, joined Manchester United for an undisclosed fee back in August 2020 from Sheffield United. He then went on loan to Nottingham Forest in the 22-23 season, so on loan, and then went back to United at the end of last year before he signed for Palace for £15 million at the end of August. Well, Palace have never dropped points when leading 2-0 at half-time at Selhurst Park. 16 times it's happened in recent years, and they've not dropped a single point from those 16 games. Wow. Now that's a record that Man United have to come up against tonight to try and change that. Casemiro, his ball through the middle, has gone nowhere and all the way through to Dean Henderson in the Crystal Palace goal. Erik Ten Hag, throwing his hands in the air, felt that Dean Henderson had held the ball for too long, but I don't think there's much in that. It's really a bit extreme to be complaining this early in the game as Anthony tried to chest it forward for Højlund, but loses out. Munoz now down the right. Comes Olise, and he will win the throw-in for Crystal Palace. Off Kobbie Mainoo. They come all the way back here, Palace. Anderson has to go back to Henderson. What will Erik Ten Hag have said to his side at half-time? What would be the kind of motivating kind of speech? Must have been a short speech because they were out for quite a while before Crystal Palace even made an emergence onto the pitch for the second half. So it must have been a short and sweet one from Erik Ten Hag. Sure not a happy speech, I would say. And take my expert guessing in figuring that out. Surely a very angry speech, I would guess, at half-time with how his side have performed. As Munoz has another throw-in down the right. Mateta keeps it alive. Down the left, right it comes again as Klein played it along to Olise, and it will go out for another Crystal Palace throw. Off a Man United player. Decent start to the half for Palace. It's all about kind of regaining that rhythm that they had from the first half, and they got another throw in, this time almost at the corner flag for Palace, high up on this right hand side. But it's all about regaining that rhythm, that momentum from the first half that they carried. You know, if they lose their way early in the second half, it could kind of crumble, but if they keep calm, keep doing what they've been doing, and don't make any silly mistakes, they should see this one through, despite possible Manchester United improvements. And arguably, you would say if Man United don't improve in that first half, well, that'll be a shock, because there's a lot to improve on. That's a ball by Dean Henderson in behind. Munoz made the run, takes it down on the right. Run forward by Klein on the overlap. Klein now with a cross in. Falls to Eze! And he had to just scoop it up there. Eze was kind of reaching back for it. Couldn't get the pace on it. And it just scooped up into the hands of Onana. But Klein with a lovely cross back. Eze almost on the literally on the penalty spot when he took that strike. And it's just really difficult. It was kind of behind him, and he kind of stretched his right leg around to kind of scoop the ball forward. And it kind of just popped up and into the hands of Onana, who gathered easily. But another good opportunity for Palace there, early doors. And that, again, that obvious threat in the wide areas. Dalot. Now Anthony. Back to Dalot, who's taking it down in the box. Not much space. Anthony now strikes, but that one's just straight at Dean Henderson, who can gather. That's their first shot on target. That's the improvement I talked about. First shot on target of the evening. But again, not really tested Dean Henderson there. He didn't have to move very much. Maybe side-footed a yard or two to his right, but that was it. Eriksson. That might give United a bit of confidence, the fact that they do have now a shot on target and they're maybe just getting a slight opening at goal. But that's Mateta. Played it forward, and the ball will run out of play actually for a United throw. Palace disagreed, but it looked like it just rolled out from Mateta there. Here's Dalot. Down the right it comes to Anthony. Here is Anthony dragging in Fields. Mitchell bundling over the Manchester United right winger. And then Tyreek Mitchell gives away a free kick there. Better from Anthony. Making the run in between Richards and Mitchell and committing Mitchell in Fields and making him make that foul and that challenge. And getting Man United the free kick. Their 10th of the game. Eriksson with his free kick then. Took a couple of them in the first half. One of which was slightly over the bar. From a 20-yard distance. This one will be a whipped it will be a crossing free kick. We won't go for goal from here, surely. Palace have set up a wall just in case. Eriksson with a cross in. Headed on and hit the post. It bounces in though. But I think the flag has gone up from the rebound. Or if he's offside initially, Casemiro thought he'd got them back in it. But the flag up. See it again. Yeah, he's offside. Yeah, he's clearly offside there. It does hit the post. It rebounds back out for Casemiro. And he did tap it in, but he was in offside position in the initial free kick tick from Christian Eriksen, which meant the goal was ruled out. So that's the second time tonight the Man United have had a goal disallowed. Both correct decisions, and that's a free kick on Mateta, who was literally forced into his own in his own bench there by Johnny Evans. He's pushed off the pitch, Mateta, with that challenge. And Palace will get a free kick just inside their own half on the right hand side. No hurry to take it though. It will be Klein that will take it, Nathaniel Klein. Eyeing up his options. He'll go backwards to Anderson. Now back to Henderson. Henderson with a long ball out. Above the head of Eze. Casemiro with a header, but Hughes wins it. Now Richards gets it forward quickly. Mateta now. Run out of room to find. To move forward, and Man United get it back. Dalot. And a short pass from Eriksson there, and Dalot has to do a bit of firefighting that time and had to track it back all the way to Onana to make sure that Palace didn't pounce upon that one. Short pass from Eriksson. And it gets another threat of Palace. Well, I mentioned it early in the game, their counter press, the fact that they're able to close the space and really pressure the United players into making those shorter passes to kind of panic them a bit into making those mistakes. It's where they've been looked so comfortable and confident tonight, Palace. Why they've looked so good. Klein with an aimless ball across the pitch. Given away to Anthony now, but Anthony's ball again aimless. Back to the man who gave it to him in Nathaniel Klein. Here is Klein. Scoops it out of the ground. Finds Munoz down the right. Now Olise has space to run forward. Michael Olise through the middle. Flicked on by Mateta. Now Mitchell. Back to Eze. Eze to Mateta. Back to Abere Eze. And the shot just gone wide of the right post. But that was really nice give and go between Eze and Mateta. Lovely. Eze just gives it to Mateta. Or Olise, sorry. And it's Olise just flicks it on for Eze through the lines. Really lovely back heel. And Eze breaks through and tries to curl it into the far bottom right corner. Just couldn't find the space. Couldn't curl it into that corner accurately enough, and it just goes wide for the goal kick. But again, really nice approach play by Palace. There's a committed challenge there from Anderson. Wins it back. Now Olise, time to go run forward again. Eze now given time and space. Now Mitchell with a shot. Straight at Onana, who palms it wide for the corner. Again, Palace getting in their groove in the final third now. Getting back into that rhythm that I talked about. And a bit space there on the left for Mitchell. A lot of space for the wing backs as well, applying the width for Palace. Spoke about that. The fact that the narrow front three are allowing the wing backs to really break forward and create that threat in the wide areas for Palace. Elise with the corner then. Bit out swinging corner from the left hand side, left footed, headed in. Now Will Hughes with a shot. What a save! Full stretch from Andre Onana to deny Will Hughes a goal. And another corner will come Palace's way. This comes whipped in and headed away by Wan-Bissaka. It falls to Hughes on the edge of the box, unmarked. And he just strikes it cleanly. His laces right through it with his left boot. And full stretch was Andre Onana to parry it wide for the corner. But positive spell here for Palace in the final third. Another corner, this time on the right, taken short. Chipped into the box it goes. Cleared away by Hoyland. Fed back in by Wharton, and it goes down, and it's over the line. And in. 3-0. And Tyreek Mitchell is the man to force it over the line. And Crystal Palace's attacking prowess and threat continues to deliver. And Manchester United shambolic at the back. The second phase of the corner, they absolutely crumble. And Crystal Palace tear them apart once again. Fantastic. It's a short corner. And it's just cleared away by Evans at the front post. It's cleared away. It's Hoyland actually. It's whipped back in by Adam Wharton. And then Dallow on the cover, trying to block off Anderson getting at the back post. He's already got someone marked. And then it just bundles off the leg of Dallow, rolls forward for Tyreek Mitchell, who has the goal gaping in front of him. And he just slots it with the left boot into the back of the net and extends Crystal Palace's lead. And it's exactly what they deserve. And they were just checking for a moment there for a possible offside VAR, but they have got that goal. And Diogo Dallow's just receiving a bit of treatment here for the moment on his hand. So whatever that is about, we do not know. But what a night Crystal Palace are having at Selhurst Park. They're running riot over Erik ten Hag's Manchester United, who have folded like a nervous poker player under pressure. And he's going to make a change here, Erik ten Hag, and it's Anthony who's going to be coming off, and one of the only senior players on the bench for United, Sofian Amrabat, him and Amad Diallo, the only senior players on the bench, outfield players that is coming on. So Amrabat on and Anthony off. So it looks like Man United want to go to a 4-3-3 in the middle, or a 4-4-2, whatever picks their fancy, really. I'm guessing 4-3-3 with Amrabat being the extra midfielder, Eriksson and Mainu in there as well, and then the front three of Mount, Garnacho and Hoyland. I'm guessing is what the idea is going to be. But that extra body in midfield to try and just help out, close down those gaps in the middle for Manchester United. Because it's been an absolute pummeling they've had here tonight so far, and we're only 2/3 of the way through the game. Still another 30 minutes to go, and this could be even more than what it already is. Palace scored 5 here against West Ham United a few games ago, and a 5-2 victory. They've scored 3 a couple of times here this season against Sheffield United and Burnley, and against Brentford as well earlier in the season. certainly finding the net tonight to add to their already really good performance. And it's really an uptick in their home performances this season, Palace. They've been in the bottom half in terms of their home form all season. They're not going to get out of the bottom half, it doesn't seem like. Actually, no, it is mathematically impossible for them to get out of the bottom half in terms of home form this season. But this will be their 7th win at home this season. 7 defeats, 4 draws. This campaign. 31 goals scored now at home. As United try and conjure up some sort of counter to that Palace one-way traffic at this moment in time. Here's Dalot. Does work well. Looking for the cross, and Anderson has to block it behind for the Man United corner. Eriksson to take this corner then for United. And 3-0 up Palace. Are as comfortable as what Man United were against Coventry in that FA Cup semi-final. Will the same happen? Eriksson with a corner. And it's flicked on at the front post, and a good reaction by Dean Henderson. It's not gone over the line. Not cleared away yet by Palace. Garnacho trying to squeeze his way through, and lots of Palace bodies in the way there to block it off. As Eze now picks it up and breaks forward for Crystal Palace. Look at that. Breaking challenges like it's nobody's business. And here's Michael Elise. He's got Mateta through the middle. He's got another player arriving, but Elise couldn't find the cross. Blocked off, but again, Eze just breezing through the Manchester United team like there's no one in his wake. Incredible. Will Hughes there, blocking off in the middle. Put it out for a Man United throw on the left-hand side. Will Hughes. Casemiro. Out to Dalot. Looks like Amrabat's gone in at centre-back. Alongside Casemiro and Evans. It seems at this moment in time that's what it looks like. How about that? There we are. Mainu. He's taking a more advanced role. Here is Kobbie Mainu up the pitch. Spreads it across. Finds Garnacho. Garnacho now lays it off to Dalot. Dalot with a cross in. Took a Palace deflection. And all the way through it will go out the other end. And Munoz will recover for Palace. Again, another good threatening cross there from Manchester United. As Palace aimlessly flung it forward there. It's all about retaining composure. Staying in control, Palace. Despite having less of the possession overall in the game, they've had more of the control in this one. You know, they've had more of the control. They've actually had more shots on target in this second half alone, Palace, in this second half so far, than they did in the whole of the first half alone. It's the ball through the middle. The referee said no foul as Hoyland went tumbling to the floor on the edge of the box, but the referee didn't see anything wrong with the challenge by the Palace player. Mitchell hits that off Dalot, wins the throw in, and the break and play will have the Man United players questioning that decision by the referee. Jared Gillett will just say it again. Ball on behind, chested down by Hoyland. Yeah, there's an offside in there anyway. And the challenge is outside the box by Joachim Andersen. It's just coming together. It's not a foul. There's nothing in that whatsoever. The referee got that completely correct, and Hoyland's absolutely lost his head here. He's kicking off. Really has lost his head there, Rasmus Hoyland. There's nothing in it. Genuinely. Wharton. Back to Nathaniel Klein. Through the lines to Elise now. Hughes, that's lovely. Now Mateta. Just blocked off by Casemiro, but nicely won back down the right. Here's Elise! That's a lovely goal! That is a fantastic finish by Michael Elise! And Crystal Palace are absolutely destroying Manchester United. What has happened here tonight? This will be a night Crystal Palace fans will never forget. And we've still got another quarter of this game to go. Crystal Palace 4, Manchester United 0. Wow. It's a terrible bit of defending from Casemiro. Just easily, just shoved off the ball by Munoz. Cuts it back. Just say it again. Casemiro just carry it to the byline for some reason. Munoz wins it back easily. And then Elise, wow, just picks it up and just chops onto his left foot and finds the top right. I mean, Onana will have questions to answer, but Elise with a nice finish and extending Palace's lead further. And Palace are absolutely romping home through victory here tonight. This is sensational stuff. You cannot legislate for things like this. And another huge victory on the cards here now for Crystal Palace. Certainly will go into the history books of these Crystal Palace fans in here at Selhurst Park. Well, up to tonight, they'd beaten Man United here just once in the Premier League era, and that was a narrow 1-0 win. Well, tonight, this will be one to remember. This has been anything but narrow. It's been as one-sided as anything. And Man United are crumbling again. Oh, Eze almost broke free there to try and find the space to almost have another chance for Crystal Palace. They want to make it as much as possible, and that's a late challenge there by Sofyan Amrabat, and it's going to be a yellow, I think. It is just a yellow by Jared Gillett. He had his question in there, whether it was a yellow or maybe just even something more. Just say it again. Munoz down the line to find Elise. Elise just takes it in a stride, and Amrabat comes flying in. See it again from a closer angle. Ooh, studs up there slightly. Very lucky there, Sofyan Amrabat, not to have seen more than yellow. But it is a yellow card for the Man United substitute. And look at these scenes. Those Palace fans are absolutely on cloud nine. They're loving every single second of this. And as they should be. Their team are romping to victory. And this will be one of their, if not, result of the season here at Selhurst Park. Oliver Glasner and his assistants are actually questioning the fourth official as to why that was not a red card. And I think he's very lucky, Sofyan Amrabat, not to get a red, but the referee just said yellow as Palace play the free kick short there. And here's a shot blocked from the short free kick as Dean Henderson goes long out wide now. Elise takes it down deftly up against Garnacho. Elise shielding the ball back. He's on a hat-trick now, Michael Elise. Out the wide it comes to Mitchell. And Oliver Glasner got a yellow card in the process there of complaining about that not being a red card, and he got a yellow card for himself. Dallo committing the foul there on Aberieze. Will give Palace another free kick. I mean, this is just wonderful. I mean, for the neutral, it's just a completely unexpected result. I mean, this is what Man United have been all season. Chalk and cheese, but not this bad. Not even this bad, and that is awful by Garnacho. Sprayed it across and forced it to try and find Wan-Bissaka and overhit it completely. And Wan-Bissaka couldn't reach it and it ran out for a Palace throw. And of course, we bring to mention the Man United injuries, of course, and the problems they've had at centre-back, and this is their 14th centre-back partnership of the season, but I mean, this is one of the worst of their season. I mean, they had 7 against Liverpool last season, 6 against Manchester City. Those are top clubs, top teams. This is a Crystal Palace side under a new manager, still trying to get to grips with their manager's kind of new tactics and all of that stuff, and on the up themselves, Palace, but mid-table. Not to disrespect them whatsoever, but they're a mid-table side, but they've got a lot of potential and a lot of quality at this time, and it's just flowing perfectly for them. The combination of that with the poor form of Man United is what is creating this poisoned kind of chalice of a game for Man United at this moment in time. That poisonous kind of combination. By the way, Crystal Palace did make a double change after that 4th goal. Odsonne Edouard and Yaro Riedewald are on the pitch, replacing Will Hughes and Jean-Philippe Mateta, so a double change for Palace after that 4th goal. So a bit of rest incoming, knowing that the result is going to be theirs. Crystal Palace, barring the most dramatic of Premier League comebacks, it looks like Palace will get the 3 points, and quite convincingly so. And nothing short of what they deserve tonight, Palace. That's another awful ball by Dalot that time, right out of play for a throw-in on the left-hand side for Palace. And less than 20 minutes to go, and I'm sure Man United will be absolutely counting the seconds. And it will feel longer than it actually is for those United players on the pitch, that final 18, 19 minutes of this game. But for Palace, it will absolutely fly by, and it's all about those Palace fans really soaking up this moment, this atmosphere, this game as a whole for them. It's really taking every single bit of it in and appreciating every single bit of it. Because not often this happens. But they've totally deserved it tonight, Palace, as Riedewald wins it back and Wharton pings forward. But straight into the path of Wan-Bissaka, who won it back. Niam Rabat. And a look forward, but can't. Has no options. Runs into trouble as Edouard trying to press, but Evans sprays it out to Wan-Bissaka in space now. Wan-Bissaka trying to get Man United forward to create a consolation goal at the very least. Here's Kobbie Mainoo. Now out wide on the left is Wan-Bissaka, but closed down again, and Munoz can clear away for Palace. And of course, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, we talked about a couple of players used to play for Manchester United. Well, Aaron Wan-Bissaka used to play for Crystal Palace. The Man United fullback. Signed for a big fee quite a number of years ago now. Aaron Wan-Bissaka joined Man United for over £48.5 million back in July 2019. Almost 5 years ago. Joined from Crystal Palace. He was from the Crystal Palace youth side. Came into the main Crystal Palace starting 11, or the main team, back from 2018. And joined Man United the following summer. Had that meteoric rise, but still to be in this team. He's doing a decent job at this moment, but tonight none of the United players have been up to standard or up to scratch. Far from that. And the Olays are coming out now, but I think they were a bit premature, because Palace have just put the ball out of play under no real pressure at all there. Haunted by the Olays. It's a nice turn by Eze, and he's pulled back again by Casemiro, and that's another free kick. But Eze's asking, should it be a yellow card? But the referee just giving the free kick. Well, United used to have a good record away at Palace. They won 8 of their first 11 away Premier League games at against Crystal Palace. They'd drawn the other 3 of those 11, but since then they've gone 3 without victory against them on the road. 2 draws and 1 defeat. It looks to beat 4 tonight. That will be. after the final whistle. Elise with a whipped cross in from the free kick. All the way through it went, and Anderson will rescue it at the far right hand side. He will whip it in now with the left, but it whipped too far close to Andre Onana, who will gather for Manchester United. Well, it's not only South London that Man United struggle this season. They have a poor record in the capital as a whole. They've suffered Premier League defeats at Tottenham 2-0, Arsenal 3-1, West Ham 2-0 and Chelsea 4-3. They have never lost 5 league matches in London within a single season before. It will be tonight that will change, it seems, in these next 13 minutes. Another record that Manchester United will not be welcoming in this tenure under Erik ten Hag. Crystal Palace are going to make a change. They'll make another one of those changes, and it's going to be Nathaniel Klein that's going to come off, and he's going to be replaced by Mark Guehi. So Guehi on for Klein, so a straight swap at centre-back surely for those two. And Mark Guehi, of course, was a mainstay under the previous manager Roy Hodgson at centre-back alongside Joachim Andersen. Was the club captain for a while, had the captain's armband for a long while, did Mark Guehi. And Guehi will just come in, fresh legs at the back to make sure that Palace can try and see out this as much as possible, which will be a historic victory. As Man United get the drop ball. Casemiro. Evans. Casemiro. Over the top it goes. Headed by Anderson away, and now Mitchell can force it long. Edouard with a header, brought down by Eze, and now Edouard can carry it forward. Edouard looking to break through, but closed down by Casemiro, and Amrabat came and gathered the ball away for Manchester United. Well, Palace have won 5 of their last 8 Premier League matches at Selhurst Park. Just 2 defeats in that 8-game run, including each of their last 2. And they've last won 3 straight home league games in the competition in October 2022. United, meanwhile, have lost just 3 out of their 14 Premier League games in 2024. 6 wins, 5 draws, though they've only won 1 of their last 6. 4 draws, 1 loss, and that was against Sheffield United last month at Old Trafford. Here's Elise. Now Munoz, back across, looking for Elise, but just evaded the Palace player in the middle. As Palace aggressively win it back. Riedewald trying to break it off Kobbie Mainoo, and he does get the touch off Mainoo, and it will be a Palace throw. Well, all the talk about Monday nights and how will teams deal with the pressure under the lights, another record that Man United will not want to see. Although they're going to make changes here, United. I'll tell you about that record in a moment. Mount is coming off. He's going to be replaced by Amad Diallo. So Amad is coming on for Mason Mount. And the young Wheatley, Ethan Wheatley, is coming on. And he's been he's replacing Rasmus Højlund. So Mount and Højlund off, and Amad and Wheatley on for Manchester United for the final 10 minutes of this one. Mitchell. Around the corner from Riedewald. Now Eze holding off his man in Dallo. Goes back to Guehi. Now Anderson. Mark Guehi. Into the middle to Yarrow Riedewald. Chris Richards now, who's swapped out to the right hand side of defence of that back 3. Started tonight on the left, but Guehi's taken up that left position. Here's Mitchell. Down the left-hand side, Mitchell looking for the cross. Blocked. Now Mitchell again. Get another shot at it. Elise on the left flank. Plays it forward for Mitchell. Mitchell at the byline. Cuts it back across. Brought down in the box and shot by Daniel Munoz. Deflected from Amrabat and behind for a Crystal Palace corner. Well, on the road, Man United have both scored and conceded in each of the last 8 Premier League games. Only once have they had a longer such run in the competition, doing so in 9 straight matches between May and November 2001. Well, they're certainly conceded here tonight. Don't know about scoring, though. Wouldn't say that's a certainty in this late stage. And Michael Olise on a hat-trick. He's going to take the corner for Palace, so maybe not. Olise's whip ball in. Headed away by Evans. Brought down by Eze. Eze with a cross to the back post, and Richards with a header, but it was going wide, I believe, but it was gathered by Andre Onana to deny. Chris Richards, anything there? Olise, first time switch ball. Eze now to pick it up. Palace are just kind of managing this one now. They're not forcing the issue now. They know they've got their 3 points and they just want to manage this. They just want to see this game out now. And if they get an opportunity to score, of course, they'll take it. But they'll not risk everything to try and get another one, which is very smart from Crystal Palace. Here's a Barry Eze. Look at that from him. Brick and challenges again. Eze all the way through, run through. Blocked off that time. Wanted a handball. Riedewald recycles it. Now Edouard. Into the box he goes. Odsonne Edouard. Right on the left it comes. Now Anderson. Back across to Riedewald. Palace come down the left flank now with Tariq Mitchell. Infield to Edouard. All the way back to Guehi. Wharton in the middle. Now Olise. Down the right he comes. Now finds it out on that right flank to Munoz. Back to Olise. Wharton. Now Munoz. And if Olise wants to get that hat-trick, he might have to do it here. In this moment. Here is Michael Olise to try and get the hat-trick. Still going. Run out of room. Try to roll it forward there, Olise, and run out of headroom to get the ball forward. And Man United rescue at the back, although Wharton's won it back. Olise in the box. Olise drags it back. Olise with a shot deflected. Dallo with a header clear. And then Kobbie Mainoo will track back and win it back. Casemiro, and now Dallo flicks it forward. Guehi up for the header. And then Anderson back to Chris Richards in centre defence. Guehi held on to there, and that will be a free kick to Crystal Palace. So it's not going to be a hat-trick tonight for Michael Olise, but it will be a brace. And a double change incoming then. Eze and Olise both going off for Crystal Palace. A night that Crystal Palace will remember for decades to come, for years to come. A night where that front three absolutely lit up the pitch. Olise opened the scoring. Mateta doubled their lead. Then Olise made it 3, or Mitchell made it 3, sorry, and Olise made it 4. Eze, a key component in all of that too. Not on the score sheet, but certainly very heavily involved in all of those moments. As Jeffrey Schlupp and Jordan Ayew come on to replace Barry Eze and Michael Olise for these final 5 minutes or so. But Palace, those attackers have absolutely lit up the pitch tonight with their quality and their delivery in the final third. As Mitchell wins the throw-in on the left-hand side. I was going to tell you about that stat then, about Monday nights and Under the Lights and the pressure of Under the Lights. Well, United have not lost an away league game on a Monday night since going down to Everton in August 2012. So this will be the first time they've lost on the road on a Monday night in almost 12 years. They've gone unbeaten in 9 such games since then, 5 wins, 4 draws. Palace have won only 2 of their 22 Premier League games on a Monday since the start of the 2017-18 season. 9 draws, 11 defeats. They've gone winless in 6 since a 3-0 home win against Arsenal in April 2022. Certainly isn't a blue Monday for Crystal Palace here tonight. It's a blue Monday for Manchester United, without a shadow of a doubt. Palace roaring red. Munoz. Down the right it comes. Nice Schlupp. We'll see it out for a throw-in off Johnny Evans for Crystal Palace. Throw in down the right hand side. Flicked on, but offside flag up there against Munoz. Well, it's not only a Monday night that Man United are going to lose a record of. The month of May isn't a good month for them. They've lost 8 of their last 14 away Premier League games in the month of May. 3 wins, 3 draws in those 14, with one of those defeats coming at Selhurst Park back in 2022 in their final game under Ralf Rangnick for Manchester United, and Erik ten Hag was in attendance in that game as well. He'll probably stop coming to these games. He's been in attendance at both of Palace's wins at home against Man United. Their only 2 wins at home against United in the Premier League era. I mean, Erik ten Hag might be the bad omen. Who knows? Who knows? I don't think that's the case, but I mean, it is a bit strange that. Odsonne Edouard has just been booked here for a challenge, I think, on Sofian Amrabat, so it is a free kick and a yellow card for Edouard. Onana, final 2 minutes of normal time. United come forward, and it doesn't look like a consolation's coming for them tonight. Guehi finds the space for Schlupp. Wharton. Back it comes from Richards to Anderson. Joachim Anderson now. Back to Richards, and across it goes all the way back to Dean Henderson in the Palace goal. It goes long, targeting the head of Odsonne Edouard, but Evans with a header and Amrabat bringing it down for United. Well, don't forget, more football to come for you this midweek. 2 Champions League semi-final second legs for you tomorrow on Wednesday night. Tomorrow night we're in Paris at the Parc des Princes as Paris Saint-Germain take on Borussia Dortmund in the second leg of their Champions League semi-final. Dortmund holding a 1-goal lead heading into that one. And then on Wednesday night we will be at the Santiago Bernabeu for the second leg of Real Madrid against Bayern Munich on Wednesday night. Here's another chance for Palace. Munoz! Oh, the cross just behind. I think it was Schlupp in there. Diallo. Amrabat gives it away to Riedewald. Now in the box it comes to Edouard. Edouard skips away from his man. Edouard across, and Schlupp was there in the middle, but the clearance away from Wan-Bissaka to deny United a 5th goal conceded. Deny Palace a 5th goal on the night. Edouard, nice quick feet, beats away from Casemiro, and then he just tried to square it across. It's Munoz and Schlupp in there. Wan-Bissaka denies both of them a chance at goal, but it will be a Palace corner. 90 minutes are up. There will be 6 added minutes at the end of the 90 here then, so 6 more minutes to come. Corner whipped in, headed on the front post, and somehow it scrambled away from United there. Ayew will pick it back up though on the left flank and will win another Crystal Palace corner. Flicked on by Chris Richards, I think, in the front post, and then it got in a bit of a scramble in the box, and United did get it half cleared away. Palace will win another another corner here. Jordan Ayew to take, left hand side, out in swinging corner to come. Ayew whips it in again, flicked away at the front post now from Diallo. Mitchell, oh, poor pass from Tyrick Mitchell. Bit casual there, and now a chance for United on the break. Wheatley Runs out of room, and that's a fantastic challenge by Mitchell. And Gurhey tried to win it back, but the referee got in the way, so it will be a drop ball. Wheatley, the youngster, had a chance and was duly challenged off the ball by Tariq Mitchell. It's time for player of the match time. And I mean, you could give it to any of the Crystal Palace players tonight. They've all been sensational, but one man who's been a cut above the rest, has been Michael Elise. He's been a sensation tonight. Here's Edouard in the final third. Oh! Off the upright, off the post, and Onana was kind of stood in mud there. He had nowhere to go. He couldn't move, Onana. And Edouard, goodness me, had a massive chance there to add to Palace's lead. Wharton's ball, too much. Out for a United throw on the far side. Just see that again, Edouard. It's a Gurhey ball, and Casemiro again gets done in completely. Edouard wins it back, and then Edouard just tries to go with the right boot. And Onana just stuck in the mud there. Just cannot move. Cannot get across, and he's left watching the ball as it cascades off the left upright to deny Edouard a goal. Here's Jordan Ayew. 3.5 minutes to go. Palace 4, United 0. Even saying that is strange. Goodness me. United try and come forward here later on. Ahmad. Garnacho did carry it with him, but Palace get it away with the first time of asking and get it away to Amrabat. Wan-Bissaka down the left and challenged out of play there. Will be a United throw on the left hand side though. Crystal Palace fans applauding in appreciation and approval of their side's victory incoming. What a romping victory it will be when that whistle goes. The roof will absolutely lift off this place when Jared Gillett does blow the final whistle. In a matter of moments, as Richards committed with that challenge and puts it out of play for a Man United throw. Man United having more of the ball in these last couple of minutes. Again, they're challenged off the ball there, United. Riedewald. Now Munoz. Space and time now up front. Edouard with a nice flick. Finds Ayew, slipped a bit, but Ayew will take the strike and the deflection. Oh, almost caught out Onana there, but Dallow's deflection took the pace off it, and Onana could gather. But Ayew just slipped and then he stretched for it and took the strike with his left. Not one of his cleanest strikes there, but in the end, enough for Onana to gather. Casemiro. To Dallow, last minute of the 6 added here at Selhurst Park. And Adam Wharton again committed. Fires that ball clear and giving Man United absolutely no chance. And that really epitomises what Palace have been about tonight. Every single challenge. Just firing it away, getting as far away as they can. Just committing bodies with every single battle in that pitch, every single duel on the pitch. Really impressive. Last couple of seconds then. That's it. What a night for Crystal Palace and Oliver Glasner. Only their second ever home win in the Premier League era against Manchester United. And what a way to crown yourself with that 3 points. 4 goals and a clean sheet to boot. An incredible performance from Crystal Palace tonight. That front three did not lack a single thing. They offered everything tonight. The power, the pace, the ability, the quality, and the finishing as well. Eze, Mateta, Elise, epitomising an incredible Palace performance from every single player to a man out there. Erik ten Hag, well, what can we say? A dismal performance from Manchester United tonight. Injuries and all you can say, but certainly a performance that is not to be remembered for United, but certainly not one to forget for Crystal Palace. A class night for Oliver Glasner's side here in South London. A night that Crystal Palace fans will remember for years to come. Erik ten Hag just hopes that everyone else forgets that this ever happens. And it's certainly a disappointing and dismal and destroying night for Manchester United. They were torn to bits by Crystal Palace tonight, and Crystal Palace fully deserved it. Final score from Selhurst Park. It's Crystal Palace 4, Manchester United 0.